Okay, so first up, you guys want to hear the entrepreneurs. So first up, we have Keyzio. These guys launched at Startup Weekend back in April. I love this idea. I'm so hoping that it takes off. So they are trying to create, or they have created an application, and they're in a public beta. So I believe you can download the app. Yep. Perfect, and they'll tell you more about that. But think of the possibility that anybody that basically sees your house and wants your house, even if you don't have your house on the market, could possibly say, I want to buy your house. Which I love because I would love to not have to go through the pain of listing my house again on the market. But I'll let them explain it more. We've got Parker Hills and Dan Aycock. Go ahead and give them a round of applause to get started. Thanks, guys.
Good morning. Well, it's great to be here. This is our first presentation at 1 Million Cups. I'm Parker. This is Dan. As he mentioned, we started at Startup Weekend last year, and we're in the Think Big Accelerator now. And we're excited to tell you about Keyzio, where every house is for sale. So last year, my wife and I sold our house, and we listed it. We did that whole thing. We had a great agent. We sold it pretty quickly, actually. And you sell your house, you're like so excited for a minute because you don't know if anybody wants to buy it. You don't want days on market to accumulate. Well, we sold it. We're so excited. And then for like a minute, panic set in. Because if you're anything like us, we had been planning and thinking about this move for 6 months or a year, and we knew at that moment that nothing was for sale that we wanted to make an offer on. And so you now have 30 days, 60 days to make probably the biggest purchase in your life, and it's going to be the home that you potentially raise your family in for 5, 10, 15 years, and you have 30 days to decide. So it's a little bit terrifying, and unfortunately, that is the standard process that most people go through unless you're a first-time home buyer or lucky enough to be able to afford 2 mortgages, assuming you even want to do that. This is sort of that time crunch that people find themselves in. So we built Keyzio to solve this problem, and let me explain what we mean when we say that every house is for sale on Keyzio. So the blue pens up here represent 100 homeowners in the area that you're looking to buy. On average, 1 out of 10 houses on that street that you love are going to be for sale. That's pretty low odds that the house you love, which is going to be reflected here on these red pens, happens to be for sale when you're in the market, which is terrible odds. The good news is the research we've done indicates that many homeowners are in that same situation that my wife and I were for a year. We're thinking about it, we're talking about it, we're planning. We are going to open houses. We're starting to have agents take us out to look at houses that are for sale. And there's 3 to 4 times as many people in that situation. They aren't quite ready to put a sign in their yard, but they are definitely in the position where they would seriously entertain an offer. And so we've made it real easy for buyers to find these types of homeowners, and we've made it real easy for sellers to, in less than a minute on our application, basically set up a private listing where you can get notifications of buyers looking in your area, review their profile, see if they're pre-qualified, check out what they're all about, and decide to reach out to those that you might think are a good fit, and then might share the same time frame with you. Maybe you're looking to move in 6 months. So with that, that's basically an overview. I'm going to turn it over to Dan now, and he's going to walk you through a live demo of our app. It is available for iPhone. We're working on Android. And at the end of the presentation, we'll put up a short link where everybody can go. We hope you get your phone out and go to this short link. But for now, I'll turn it over to Dan. And oh, you have a mic, so we're good. He's going to walk you through how it all works.
Great. Thanks, Parker. So this is Lisa, and this is her profile. Lisa's been living in Prairie Village for the past 5 years, and she loves the area, but unfortunately, they're starting to grow out of their house. So they're looking for a bigger house. They want to stay in Prairie Village, and they want to be within walking distance of the village shops. So Lisa's kind of gone out and done her homework. There's about 9 listings out of about 430 houses that are within walking distance of the shops, and that's about 2%. So her odds are pretty low that she's going to find the house she loves. So Lisa's decided to go out and use Keyzio to really find the houses that she loves. So this is Lisa's house here in green, and up in that triangle area is the village shops. You can see these If I zoom in here, you can see these red pins are the houses that she's tagged that she really loves. So one house in particular, let's take a look at that Lisa is really excited about. You can see that she's gone ahead and taken a picture of the house and it's uploaded it here. You can see she's kept a few notes to say, why does she love this house? And she's so excited about it that she's decided to share it with her husband. So she clicks on here and says share. She can go ahead and just enter her husband's address and then send that message right to her husband. So if he goes out, he'll get an email message. And let's go take a look at what that message looks like. So Lisa shared this home with you. He can see the location of that on the map and the notes that she's shared with him. So they're both excited. They talk at home that night, and they decide that they want to go ahead and try to contact that owner. So you can see right here, we've got this contact owner button. Lisa clicks on it. There's a message there. She can customize it and then decide to go ahead and set it. So at this time, there's two different options. She can send it electronically or a personalized letter. A letter is actually a printed out, customized letter, perhaps with your family picture, a message really reaching out to that homeowner. Or electronic, which we're going to do here, is it goes into their Keyzio inbox. So if that seller is in the system or they sign up, it's sitting there waiting for them. So let's go take a look at what that message would look like. This is within our application. We've got in-app messaging. You can see that's Lisa's message. And then the seller is in Keyzio, and they've responded. In fact, they are happily, trying to sell their house in the next few months. They can go ahead and discuss. And this is kind of a semi-anonymous way for them to talk to each other and really try to connect and see if they're a match. So with that, we're going to land here. Here's that link that Parker was talking about. We set up just for you guys, Keyzio.com/1MC. Please go out there, download the app, try it out, tell us what you guys like, what you don't like. And if you do not have an iPhone, you can sign up for buyer notifications in your area. So when someone drops a pin in your neighborhood, we'll send you an email saying there's activity in your neighborhood. So thank you for that, and please, we're ready for some questions.
So go ahead and get your phone out and go to that link.
What's your model for revenue?
So the question was, what's your model for revenue? We have a couple different plans or ideas, but right now we're really focused on user growth. It's sort of a network effect. And so, we think there's a lot of value to be created in being the center of these discussions where we can connect a buyer or a seller with service providers. And that could be an agent, that could be a mortgage broker for the pre-qualification piece, and then there's a dozen other types of service providers involved in a real estate transaction. And so connecting our users with the types of service providers and the types of services that they specifically need and request, we think there's a lot of value there. And that might unbundle sort of the standard fee, if you will, for buying and selling. Yeah.
Are the personalized letters sent to resident, occupant, or the actual name of the owner, and are they hand addressed or just computer labeled?
So the question was, are they sent specifically to their name, or are they hand addressed, and are they hand addressed, the personalized letters? We've tested a bunch of different ways. Obviously, the more personalized, the better. So, depending on the type of demand we get or whatever, if we can buy a mailing list and figure out names of people that live there, we'll do that. But the letter might just say, "Dear homeowner," and for now, the plan is definitely to self-address and stamp and mail these because the testing we did, we got a much better response. Obviously, people open that when it's a handwritten letter. And the response rates, industry average response rate on a postcard marketing is as low as 1%, maybe up to 5%, and we got like 15% response rate on our letters, where people, not only did they open it and read it, but they went to our website and actually responded to the person that sent the letter. Yeah.
Why would I need a realtor if I'm using Keyzio?
Well, we leave that decision up to the user. You might not, but that's the other thing. Every transaction varies in complexity. sometimes, and your level of experience. If you've bought and sold many houses, you might not. Somebody like myself might appreciate a little bit of hand-holding through the process. I might want some help with valuing my home. So if I get an offer, I might not know exactly what my house is worth, and I might want a realtor to give me a price opinion. I also might not want to do the paperwork. Yeah, you can do it on your own, but do you really know all the specifics that go into that? And so maybe you want transaction assistance.
But aren't those solutions that you could provide to make money?
Yes,
I know.
if we're a licensed broker, which we're not currently. But that's definitely on the table. Right now, our initial foray into monetization will be partnering with existing brokers. We don't necessarily want to be a broker. We might have to be one legally to get the referral fee and such, but that's the current thought. Yes?
What's your plan for user growth?
Right now, our plan is to come to 1 million cups and have everyone tell all of their friends and family about it. And yeah, so we're targeting all the FSBO market. So I'm reaching out to people on Craigslist that have their house for sale by owner. If you're familiar with the Zillow Make Me Move price, similar to that, reaching out to those types of people. And then just general, social media. We'll be looking to raise some money to take the marketing piece to a little bit higher level as well. Yes?
As the base grows and the users grow and all that, are there plans to have, for example, like this let's say a woman or whoever's living, that family living in the White House, and thousands or millions of other people around, the country, if it goes worldwide or whatever, but to potentially get people to list their house without it truly being listed. In other words, as people drive by a house, they're looking at a shell. They might say, oh, that's an attractive location. Who knows what's inside that house, whether it's a 5-bedroom or if it's in shambles or they've dumped way too much money in it, it's outside their price range. So the idea that people could somehow maybe anonymously photograph all of the inside of their house and just put it on the site and just see if anybody bites on it based on location or whatever the case is. So it's kind of just sitting there. Is there any plans for something like that?
Actually, so we have a short time to demo, but we do have listing functionality. So you can see here I'm on my listings. You can list your house privately and then decide to share it with the people that you're interested in sharing. So when the McGee family got that message, they could have then come in here and taken snapshots of the inside of their house and then send that share link to Lisa. She can check it out. No one else can check it out. And so it's really a way to, list your house with the people you want to list it with. You don't have to open your house up to everyone in the world. So that functionality exists.
So your private listing would have the interior pictures that you're referencing there.
Great question. Thanks.
Yeah.
How do you get the contact information on the recipients of the indication of interest for the home? Do they have to be signed on that?
So the question is, how do the recipients of the letter respond, essentially? And when they get,
How do you get to them in the first place?
well, we know their address. We mail them a letter.
Oh, I thought it was
Well,
Yeah, so there's
either or. If you want to do a letter, it costs $2, and we'll send them a hard paper letter. If you want to do the free method and hope that they so we basically say delivery guaranteed, delivery not guaranteed. The free way is delivery not guaranteed. The only way they'll get your message is if they hear of Keyzio and sign up and then claim their house essentially as a private listing, and then boom, you'll see the any messages that anyone has sent you over the years to that address saying, hey, I like your house. So you'd get that at that time.
some potential sellers have to be registered using Keyzio?
Yeah, on the electronic message way. So we say you can contact any homeowner to let them know, and the way we make good on that claim is by the letter.
And let me just show you just one more interesting thing kind of that answers that question. So if we come back here to the map, you can see all these pins. You see that blue pin? That's someone else's favorite that they've dropped. So if I'm a homeowner in this area, I can come out here and see all the pins that people have dropped. So I know if people are interested in my neighborhood, that gives me incentive to perhaps sign up for those free buyer activity notifications, which we want all you guys to do.
So if you were logged on as a different user right now, all of those pins right there would be blue. It wouldn't show up as your favorite home as in that red pin.
Right, so if we zoom out here, you can see kind of there's these clusters of houses. So there's 6 pins dropped in this area that people are interested in.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience coming out of Startup Weekend? I remember watching you guys do the first, 1-minute pitch on Friday night, and now, 9 months later or something, you've got a really cool app and a cool company. Tell us a little bit about, how you've progressed in Startup Weekend and how it kind of got started that weekend.
Yeah, so I took the original idea to Startup Weekend, and it was a blast. Encourage anybody to go. We would not be here without it. I wouldn't have met Dan. That's where I met Dan. The aftermath of Startup Weekends always it's this strange kind of experience where you're trying to figure out who still wants to continue working on it. You don't do any of the legal stuff. Who owns what? It's so, that whole piece of just kind of figuring out where we stood took a few months, and then you also kind of strip the idea back down because now you're not under this time crunch, and you're like, wait, do we really want to do this? Should we do it this way, that way? And so that whole process kind of took a few months to sort out, and it was sort of just fumbling along. And then basically, Dan and I just said, well, let's keep going. And so we kept going, and we knew we needed some additional help. We recruited Matt, who's sitting over here, to help us out with some of the back end work, and applied for the Think Big Partners Accelerator class, which we kicked off in late September, and that's really kept us focused. And really, it's just been sort of a whirlwind, but absolutely would not be here. We wouldn't have met Matt either, even though Matt wasn't at Startup Weekend. We met him through a connection we made at Startup Weekend. So it's pretty incredible that the connections and people you meet at that event. Yeah.
Okay. What's your greatest challenge in the next 6 months, and what can we do as a community to support you and help you through that?
Well, like any, I guess, app or company that's just recently launched, it's going to be getting the word out. I think, quite honestly, the biggest challenge will be integrating this with the traditional way in some way, shape, or form, where we still protect the integrity of this idea. But if we're going to partner with brokers, we have to make it a very useful tool for them as well. And so that is, we're not, we don't look at the traditional agent or the role of the agent as really the competition. But it's, we have to figure out a smart way to integrate with them. So that's going to be key. And then, just awareness and user growth and things like that. So. Events like this are a big help.
It's Parker said it's a network business, right? So the value, more people in it, the value of the network grows. We want to get to a tipping point where it's interesting enough for people to come in and participate in this network. So user growth is our big focus.
And so to be clear, if you own a home right now, you should be on Keyzio, even if you don't plan on selling it in the next 6 months or year, because eventually you're going to sell it. It might be 5 years from now. But the idea is when you're ready, you'll have a list of buyers that you can go through. And just the fact that we just launched. We have over 100 users. We have I think 30 listings right now. We just got our first $1 million listing yesterday as a private listing. It's in Omaha, but so that's exciting. But yeah.
Yeah, to Parker's point, let me show you. So if we kind of jump in here to this listing here, or this favorite that someone's dropped in, you can see that you can see the other people that have also dropped this pin, right? So if you're the owner of this home or in this area, you can see all the different users that have expressed interest in this house or this area. So you can go in there, take a look, and then you can go ahead and contact any of these people using their profile.
As a team, you mentioned kind of the names of the people. What are your roles, and what are you going to be looking for as you grow? I've talked to you before, and you said you guys are. This isn't your full-time gig yet, but tell me about where you're at in your personal roles and who's doing what, just basically.
Okay, so as in most small companies, we're not real big on titles at this point. We're all sort of wearing lots of different hats. But I'm the CEO. Dan and Matt are both developers. Dan's a MBA from Duke, and turns out he can build iPhone applications too. So that's pretty cool. And Matt's a hardcore developer. So really, Matt's taking the lead on all the website stuff and back end, and Dan's doing the iPhone app. I'm out talking to real estate brokers and mortgage brokers and people and trying to get awareness out there. So that's
How's your team going to grow? What do you know?
well, how it will grow is, yeah, we'll be looking for additional development help for sure. Specifically, we need some help on the design side, and we have a ton of ideas. Our requested features list is like 50 long right now. So building those out is going to take a lot more manpower to make this experience as best as we can.
Yeah, I would say we're also looking for advice from people that have been in the real estate industry for a long time. I mean, we respect that experience. We know that's a valuable perspective too.
Sure.
In terms of competition, are there any other people using this model as a startup or existing business? And if there is or isn't, the other question, a piece of this is that at some point, if there is other people doing this, obviously the consumer can list with numerous companies. There's, let's say, Keyzio and 3 others doing it. When the house finally sells, how do you determine who, in a sense, gets perhaps some type of credit for a sale if it's on multiple listings, with using multiple models from different companies?
So the question was on the competition. As far as I'm aware of, there's no real buyer-focused. I don't know of any other application where you can go look at a map and see where buyers want to live. I don't know of any other company that does that. So that's sort of unique. I also don't know of any other that has a true private listing functionality where you don't have to have a sign in your yard and you can remain anonymous. So, and as far as the credit for who gets the sale, if buyer and seller meet on this and have a discussion and never hire a realtor, no one gets the credit because they just use our tool to meet each other, and that's free. And we think that's a good thing. We also think that chances are they are going to need some help. And
I guess my question is, would there be an exclusive? Let's say in 5 years' time, there's 3 other companies using the same model, and so a buyer or a potential listener says, well, let's just list them on all of them, or maybe your company says, well, you can't. You go with us or you go with them, but it's not. And yeah.
So at this time, our sort of core values are open, transparent, not exclusive. So we want the market. We're strategically not integrating the MLS because it is sort of this lockdown database that the consumer, the only way they get that information is if they hire an agent, essentially. And we don't necessarily like that. So we want to keep it open, transparent.
Yeah, we want people to come to our service because they value what we're providing.
Okay, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to catch them afterwards. Go ahead and give a round of applause.
Thanks a bunch, guys. All right, we have a couple announcements here in the break, so we'll keep things rolling. Cameron has some stuff that he's going to share with us, and then we're going to get right into Phone2Action.
Thanks, guys. Cameron Cushman here at the Kauffman Foundation. 2 quick things for you guys. One is Invest Midwest is coming up in April. All the details are up here. The deadline was last Friday. They extended it. They're taking up to 45 companies from the region to present to an audience of venture capitalists, angel investors, a lot of different folks. I want to make sure we have a lot of folks from Kansas City. A lot of companies apply from Kansas City. We should blow this thing out, and it's a great opportunity. So there's the link. Please get your application in before Friday. The other thing I wanted to mention is South by Southwest. How many folks in the room are planning to go to South by Southwest? Okay, good amount of you. So we've been having discussions, both here with some folks in the entrepreneurial community in Kansas City and with the Startup Missouri folks, so a little bit larger focus, about potentially getting a group together to go together to Austin for South by Southwest. And we were talking about literally renting a bus and all riding down there together and connecting and doing some fun and interesting activities on the way down there and maybe on the way back, whatever that looks like. We're still working on the programming. But it dawned on me over the weekend that I don't want to rent a bus, and I don't think anybody wants to do that if nobody's really interested in like hopping on a bus and driving, 15 hours down to Austin. So if you are interested, like any good entrepreneur, I want to do a little bit of customer validation. If you are interested in maybe a ride down to South by Southwest, let me know. My contact information's up here, both email and Twitter. Contact me and just let me know, because I just want to get a tally that we have some sort of a critical mass. Now, all I'm offering is a ride. Or all this group is offering is a ride. So we're not getting tickets. We're not talking about hotel rooms. All we're talking about is a trip down there. So let me know if there's interest, and if we have critical mass, we'll do it. If not, no customers validated, then we won't do it. Thanks.
What are the dates for that?
The dates, and this is really just the interactive part of it. We're still working on it, but the bus would probably leave from here on Thursday, March 7th, and would be back in Kansas City sometime on Wednesday, March 13th. So that's the bulk of the interactive part. And yes, that would involve probably driving through the night to arrive sometime on Friday morning, or Friday midday probably. So, any other questions on that? Thanks for that. I meant to mention the dates and I didn't do it. Okay, thanks everybody.
Awesome, thanks a bunch. All right, we have an announcement from the Kansas City Startup Village real quick, and then we'll be moving into the next presentation.
How many of you heard of the Kansas City Startup Village? Okay, we're a startup area on 45th and State Line, for those of you who haven't heard of us, and we're primarily tech companies. We've got two exciting things happening. One is the Hacker House. How many of you heard of the Hacker House? Great. They offer entrepreneurs outside of Kansas City to come stay for free for 3 months. So we have to furnish a whole house. Someone's provided the house, but all the furnishings have been donated, which has been a great thing. And right now we're needing a washer and dryer. Woohoo! Okay, so we don't want a lot of dirty entrepreneurs walking around. And then our latest exciting thing is we have a co-work space. Open Methods, which is located in the area, it's a 10-year-old tech company, really successful in voice over IP. They are offering, or they have a space for us. We've already opened it up, but we don't have everything we need yet. So the primary thing we need is startups and consultants and freelancers, all tech related. We want to develop a diverse community and have them support each other in their efforts. And we also have a few items we need, like a printer and a mini cell phone tower. Flat screen TVs would be nice too. So if you know of any, there's information there. You can send me an email or contact me. I'll have a sign-up list here, and I'll send you additional information of what we need and who we're looking for. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, bud. So I just got word we have 199 people in the room today. So thank you all very, very much for coming. That's another record. This is just absolutely awesome. Also, be sure to check out the announcements that we have up on the board every time that you come in. We've got great information, but we only have so much time to announce everything to you. So without any further ado, Phone2Action's really awesome. I think we'll get a live demo today of what they actually do, but they help us connect with elected politicians and getting word out about good causes. So, all right, to you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Okay. About a month ago, a gunman stormed into Newtown, Connecticut elementary school and killed 20 6- and 7-year-olds and about 6 teachers, heroic teachers. And what this did was put the issue of gun rights versus gun control back in the forefront. So everyone is talking about this, thinking about this around the dinner table. No matter what your politics, you probably feel strongly about this issue of gun control versus the sanctity of the Second Amendment. But what do you do after that happened? What did you feel? Where did you go? Did you go online, you read some articles? Maybe you went to the NRA website and joined the NRA. Or on the flip side, maybe you went and you joined the Brady campaign, or you're following Gabby Gifford's new pro-peace pack on Twitter. But what does that actually do to change things? One of the best ways to actually impact policies is to reach out and connect directly with your elected officials. Tell them how you feel about the policies that they're pursuing and let them know what you think that they should do. But has anyone tried to reach out and connect with an elected official, whether it's at the state or the federal level? It's kind of hard, right? Maybe if you go to the Missouri House website, it'll ask you to put in your 9-digit zip code. Anyone know their 9-digit zip code? I have to go home and look at a piece of mail to find that. Sometimes you have to go to the USPS website, which is an awful experience in and of itself. So this is really hard to do. But what if I told you that connecting with your elected officials was as simple as sending an SMS text? Would that be interesting? Phone2Action makes it as easy to connect with your elected officials as sending a text message. And our business model is very simple. Phone2Action is a software as a service, and we sell our product to interest groups, advocacy groups, and trade associations, who then use Phone2Action to deploy to their supporters, and they use this to acquire and engage their supporters, who then use our technology to be able to connect with their elected officials. Did you know that $6 billion is spent each year in advocacy and lobbying? My name is Jeb Ori. I'm the founder of Phone2Action, and this is my third mobile technology startup since 2009. I started Phone2Action after observing some of the challenges that my wife, who works here in Missouri as an advocate, has faced as she's worked on fighting for bills. There was a bill that she was working on, and on Friday she had enough votes for this bill to pass out of the Missouri House. But over the weekend, the opposition to her cause mobilized all of their support. And there were 6 particular legislators who were on the fence, but they were voting on my wife's side. But come Monday morning, they decided to remove their votes. They'd taken it away. So the lobbying, the grassroots lobbying that the opposition did had worked. So that woke me up to the real personal power that we have to be able to affect change by connecting directly with our elected officials. Now in about a minute, I'm going to ask you to pull out your cell phones, and we're actually going to do a live demo. But first, we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to everyone's heart here. And this is the Startup Act 2.0. So you may be familiar with the Startup Act 1.0, otherwise known as the Jobs Act. This was legislation that was passed last year, and it made crowdfunding easier. But we need to do more. The Startup Act 2.0 is based on Kauffman Center research. It's supported by the Kauffman Foundation, and it's legislation that is supported by bipartisan federal senators. Senator Jerry Moran from Kansas, Senator Mark Warner from Virginia, and a slew of others that are moderate on both sides of the aisle coming together. What is Startup Act 2.0? It basically makes it easier for immigrants to start companies in the United States as long as they promise that the first 5 people they're hiring are American citizens. Sounds okay to me. It also has some great other things around helping make access to capital a little bit easier. So it's good for all entrepreneurs that are looking to raise capital. So what I'm going to ask you to do right now is to pull out your phones. And this is a real, I need you to do this, because you're going to get to see the power of Phone2Action, and we're going to do this in about the span of a minute and a half. So please, everyone, pull out your phones, and I'm going to ask you to text the word jobs to the number 52886. So what that means is, pull out your phones, and then up at the top, when you put in the number, write the number 52886, and fill the word jobs in the blank. So once you do that, the word jobs, just the word jobs. We have another one for Steve. So as you do that, and we'll go over that one more time. So up at the top in the number, put the number 52886. And the word that you want to put in the blank is J-O-B-S, like Steve Jobs. And once you do that, hit send. And people should start receiving a text message back. Yes, I'm seeing them go out right now. Great. So you're going to get a message that says support the Startup Act 2.0. So go ahead and tap on that link that comes through, and then you're going to see the magic of Phone2Action. It delivers a mobile website that's one of our Take Action pages that our clients create using our management portal, which I can show you in Q&A. Please ask me about that. So then we're going to ask for your address. We need you to put in your address. So go ahead and put it in. You see mine, 509 Delaware Street, Kansas City. Put in your state, and then put in your zip code. Once you put in those 4 crucial pieces of information and hit submit, we're going to hit our database. And our database will pull up your elected officials. So I'm going to see, so once people, I'm going to give people a few more seconds, and while you're doing that, I'm going to give you another fun stat. 94% of staffers say that if you that if they receive emails for their elected official and their official is undecided on how they're going to vote, it has some or a lot of impact on how they will end up voting. So this actually, and this is by the Congress Foundation, so this actually does have real quantifiable impact. So if people put in the address, now are you receiving some legislators back? All right. So the next thing you'll see is a message. This is something that our clients would create, but we've pre-populated it for you and just urging passing of this bill. In the interest of time, we're going to go right to the next the next part. Scroll down, so put in your name and your email address. We need these two crucial pieces of information to be able to successfully deliver the emails on your behalf. Once you put in your name and your email address and hit submit, that's it. You're done. I'm out of time. Share on Facebook and Twitter, and I'll take questions. Thank you. How many people finished? Hands up. All right, you have another 10 seconds, so if you're still working on it, don't feel rushed. Please push it through. And then I can actually, we can look and see everyone who did this. We can pull it up. It's really cool. So, okay, now we're really out of time. Love to have some questions as people finish up the call to action.
What are you hiring for?
Good question. We actually need a VP of engineering. We are a Startup Weekend Team 2 out of Startup Weekend Las Vegas in July. We already have revenue. We're hoping to hit $500,000 by the end of this year. Obviously, that means the rest of the year has to follow on as well as the first month has been. But because of the challenges of Startup Weekend and having fragmented teams, my founding CTO is not able to continue doing this. He needs to stay in Las Vegas, where he's based. So I am looking for a local VP of engineering. And there are a lot of ways that this can be structured, but it can be a really cool job, and you get to play with lots of really fun APIs, PHP, MySQL. We can go in all the snake languages too. But real opportunity. If you're interested in that, text the word join to 52886, and you'll actually receive back a link to the job opportunity that we have posted on our website. Thank you, Blake. Please.
Can you describe the revenue model?
Yeah, so we sell to advocacy groups, interest groups, trade associations, anyone that has a cause that they want to push over the line. And if it's a small state level group, our pricing starts around $5,000, and that includes a ton of text messages and calls to action and all the new features that we're rolling out. By the way, we have more than just this app we showed you. We have a number of other apps as well. And then for larger groups, pricing starts around $25,000, and it goes all the way up to 6 figures for 50 states plus federal. Please. Yeah, so we actually worked on one in Kansas City last fall for a major motion picture where we did a call to action. It was for a reform group, so they wanted this call to action to be put on in conjunction with the movie. At the end of this month, we're actually doing a huge rollout, a 6-city tour in some mega churches in the South, and it's going to be an hour about school choice and parent choice, and then phone to action, and then it's going to be capped off by a gospel concert by an award-winning gospel artist, Marvin Sapp. So we're the call to action component right in the middle. It's going to be totally cool, and we're going to be dealing with crowds 10 to 20 times the size of what we have in here. So it's very important that we get things right. So if people have feedback on the experience that you had as you went through, I would love to hear it, and you can shoot me an email or tweet at me, things that you want to see us improve if you have ideas on that. Thank you. That's a great question. Yes.
Do you only use this for advocacy groups, or can an individual pick a subject matter and send information out?
So right now, we focused on advocacy groups and interest groups and trade associations because they have more money and they can actually help me fund my business as I go on. But we've thought many times about a consumer-facing product. So let's say that if you wanted to set something up, the one challenge is there is some cost associated with sending those text messages. It's a small cost. I mean, but if anyone's ever gone over the text messages, or maybe you've had a kid that's gone over on the text messages, it can add up if they do like 10,000 extra messages. But yeah, we have thought about a consumer-facing product. What I will take this opportunity to show you is what our management portal looks like, so you can see how easy it would be to update things. So this is what the Phone2Action management portal looks like. And we're going to go into the app that we just looked at. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change what people actually see. I'm going to say I support Steve Jobs and the Startup Act. So now, if people go back to their phone and you go, the people that send in that text, and you click on the link that you have, you'll actually see that Steve Jobs is now in the place of the title, in place of where we had just Jobs before. So that's an indication of how easy it is for someone to be able to update it. So our clients can update things as could an individual user. We just don't see that in our revenue model right now. Yes?
How automated is it after the fact? So we all filled out applications as if we're sending it to that. Is that something that you then hindsight go back and you kind of you send out the emails to the people that are correct, or does it automatically get those emails sent out to the legislators, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we we have the contact information in our database, and we send those things out. So the information has been sent out after you just took action, and our database has tons of contact information. We can look and we can see how many people completed this. So all of these people from here down, wow, that's great. These are all new.
What do you do for privacy issues?
I normally don't show this. Yeah, that was just for the edification of the group here. No, so our clients own the information, and by sending that text message, you've opted in to receive alerts from us. And there's also we'll include, if our clients want one, we'll include a double confirmation, and at the end of that email that's an opt-in saying, I want to receive more alerts from this group.
But how about like selling information, or if you were trying to support a group that your employer might not be cool with, or some cause? I mean, that seems like you're to set yourself up for a big...
Could you clarify the second part of the question about the employer and... I don't understand.
Well, like if somebody could access the information and see what you're supporting and not supporting, and it doesn't fit their religion or politics or whatever, I mean, again, back to the privacy issue. Who are you selling this information?
No, the data is owned by our clients. So if there's an interest group, and let's, just for fun's sake, we'll pick the Brady campaign and the NRA, okay? These are two groups that are on very opposite sides of the issue about Second Amendment rights and gun control. And if the Brady campaign were to contract with us, they're going to own the data that comes out of this. They can do whatever they want with it. But right now, they have other systems that they're doing whatever they want with the data. But it's in their interest. I mean, ultimately, think about it, if you take a step back, we're a marketing acquisition tool. So people use us to acquire and engage their supporters. From a privacy standpoint, you're the one that's making the decision who you're connecting with, whether you want to do this or not. And then it's up to our clients to determine what else they do with the information. Typically, the calls to action are going to be at something like this, or at a rally or a conference. So there's a clear peg to what what organization is sponsoring this.
So there's no guarantee that you're going to be anonymous in this whole thing, because your client might decide to publish that information. So we need to look at their privacy statements.
It's not in their. This is not a petition. So it's not in our client's interest to publish the people that are participating in the application. They want to keep, they may say the numbers that they have, but there are other kind of new advocacy, startups that are focusing on, broadcasting how many people took action. I don't want to do that. I mean, I want this to be a killer tool in the bag of tricks that my clients use. So if they start to broadcast the actual people that use it, that's extraordinarily counterproductive to what they're doing. And I think that would, I mean, these groups tend not to publish their supporters anyway, so why would they do it with this? I think that would be out of sync of what their normal process is. Yes?
You build that into the terms.
And yeah, I mean, and our terms are strict. You know, we can't go out and sell this information. Yes?
Are there other competitors that you're aware of in the market that are looking at being able to have direct contact with legislative peoples?
So no one's doing this on mobile the way that we are. Now, there are a number of companies. The largest is CQ Roll Call, which if anyone here spent any time in DC? Okay. Okay, got a few here. So you may be familiar with Congressional Quarterly or Roll Call. So there are a couple companies out there that do these action alerts. The main difference in what we're doing and what they're doing is we have this optimized to look beautiful on your mobile device, and we make it easy to share these things socially. These other companies just have things that you have to use on your desktop. So we're not the first person to create these action alerts, but we've done it better than anyone else out there right now. Yes?
Is this strictly for political use, or are you also targeting corporate?
Yeah, so if there are corporate clients that want to use our technology to be able to advocate for specific policies, they absolutely can if they contract with us. It's kind of a polling tool.
Yeah.
That's something that we could do, yeah, on a case-by-case basis. We're new. I mean, we've been around since July, so we've been focused on building out what our core business is right now. But we are at this gospel tour we're doing at the end of the month. We are going to be having live updates of the number of people that are participating. So.
I just was going to mention, are you familiar with a company by the name of Turning Technologies?
No, I'm not.
All right, I will send you an email.
Please.
They are connecting, they are doing the application towards government officials, not from the same idea that you're doing, but in that same ability of being able to use the mobile app.
I'd be very interested in connecting. Yes.
I have a question from the live stream.
Okay.
Do you accept anyone as a client, say for example the Westboro Baptist Church or the KKK, or do you have, do you screen causes to that extent?
It's a good question. We're evolving on that. I have my, where my personal politics lay, and I'm trying to put that aside and just offer a tool. The same way, if the KKK wanted to use Microsoft Outlook, I don't know if Microsoft would say no, you shouldn't do that. But there are things that I feel very strongly against, and right now where I'm pursuing business, it's in areas that I am comfortable with. If there are clients that come in that may not be things that I would be that interested in working with, I'm going to have to cross that bridge when it comes to it. With respect to size of clients, that's something that some level of our pricing will tend to screen out. So if it's something too small for like a small Baptist church, let's say, and they may not really be trying to accomplish that many policy goals, they may not be the best fit anyway. It's a great question. Any others? Yes?
How do the advocacy groups attract members through emailing?
It's a great question. I mean, they're always looking for new and innovative ways. So events are one way. So if I'm an advocacy group and I got to come and present to everyone here, I'd hope that I could add at least a subset of you guys to my list. But they buy lists, they do mailers, they do phone calls. There are a large number of different ways that groups are looking to engage. But the great thing about the SMS that we did is that now that the cell phone data is now part of the information that we have about the members that are engaging. Now I'm speaking from the advocacy group. So then they can go back and actually call you. So what we can do, if there's a hot bill, we can push out a whole bunch of text messages asking you to call a specific representative in your area, like the person, your state elected official. And they can use our platform to do that. So we view our platform as being, think of a MailChimp or Constant Contact for an SMS relationship with our clients, or with our clients and users. Yeah.
My reply from y'all did not come in as a hot link.
Okay. What kind of phone do you have?
I have it.
Can I see you after? I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It makes it very hard to do the.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
We
Yeah.
tested by, I sent them a link and it came through just fine.
So that's a great point. If there anybody that had some challenges completing the link, could you hold up your hands right now? Okay. If you guys wouldn't mind giving me 2 minutes after this is over, I'd love to chat with you right around here so I can catalog what the issues were. Yes?
All right, guys. Jeb is new to town, so I think obviously you're doing awesome work. I think it's great. Could you talk a little bit of kind of your integration into the startup community in Kansas City? It's like my first question. And my second question for you is, what's your grand vision of this? How big could this be?
Okay, we'll start with the first one. I first touched down to Kansas City my first time at the end of September. And I was commuting back and forth between Sacramento and Kansas City. I came for the Think Big Accelerator group as well, like Parker and a few other people here. My wife and I were living in Sacramento at the time, but she was working in 2 states, Nevada and Missouri. So we knew we had to move to one of them. And that really left 3 cities. Although I like to snowboard too, so kind of 4 if you include Reno. But we were looking at Las Vegas, which is where I did the startup weekend, St. Louis, and Kansas City. But as I kind of looked, and I'd been to St. Louis a couple times, and I wasn't grabbed by the startup scene there. And the opportunities in Missouri were great for my wife. So I looked at and I started talking to people in the Kansas City scene, and I connected with Herb and Tyler from Think Big. And I knew about Google Fiber, and I knew about Kaufman. So I put all those pieces together, and it became a no-brainer. We moved here, we live in River Market, and we're having a blast. I'm not very well integrated into the scene yet, though. This is like the first real entrepreneur event that I've done. I've been heads down, focused on product and getting ourselves to a point where we have paying clients. But I'm very eager to build relationships. So I'd love, please follow me on Twitter and tweet at me. And I've been to the Hacker House last week. I was blown away by the opportunity. But I want to get more integrated. So I'm going to make a better effort to get out and do more things and come to 1 Million Cups and do all of these great opportunities that are here in Kansas City. How big does this get? That's a great question. Like right now I'm focused on getting to $500,000 run rate by the end of this year. That would be a huge accomplishment for me and for what we're doing. That's not really what you're asking in terms of numbers. But I see this being something that any cause group can use to roll out and reduce the friction and make it easier for them to be able to connect with their supporters and get those supporters to engage with their elected officials. So I think the sky's the limit.
That is awesome. We have time for one more question, actually, if anyone would like to ask.
Parting shot? All right.
I always ask this question, obviously you have the eyes and ears of 200 people or so, people who are focused on you and want to know how can we as a community of other entrepreneurs, of people who support entrepreneurs, help you be more certainly successful in what you're doing, other than tweeting, obviously the exposure piece is good, but what do you really need from the community? And maybe we can make Kansas City the best place in the country, for advocacy.
Well, Kansas City is very well situated midway between Topeka and Jefferson City. That gives you access to 2 state capitals, which is phenomenal for the type of work I'm doing. I do know there are a couple other civic-oriented startups that are getting some traction here too. Neighborly, I know, is one of them that are doing this in part because of the location. I need a VP of engineering. So if we go back and we text join, if anyone's interested, you'll get that. You'll get a link. All right, you'll get a link back that'll take you to the ad. So that's one thing I need. And then if anyone has observed some challenges, I want to know what the issues were and what your devices are, so we can fix that in QA, which is another area that we haven't spent a lot of time on. And then finally, if anyone has any connections with advocacy groups, interest groups, or trade associations, come talk to me. Give me your card. I'd love to be introduced because I believe that we have a solution that can help them accomplish their goals. Thanks.
That is wonderful, and I think that concludes for today. So yeah, big round of applause. We have one last big announcement. Next week, we're expecting even more people than normal, so we will be across the way in the town hall room. So when you come in next week, be sure to use what would be the west doors as you come in, and we'll be set up in the big room. So thanks a bunch, everybody, for coming. Keep
I really
spreading the
appreciate
word.
this.
This
I
is
didn't,
so great.
um,
Thanks.
Move it off.